per 10 people. Is that like first responders, or is it just stuff that you've been working on for a long time? And if it's first responders, do you photograph it?
So there's a couple different ways that we get our referrals. We are a step 2 team. So the outreach teams that are funded, either there's an organization called LASA, which is the Los Angeles Homeless Services Agency. There's also, there was a Senate bill that passed, so there's an SB 82 team, because the Senate bill was Senate Bill 82. There's also some like mobile mental health teams that come out, and then also law enforcement and other first responders. They will identify someone who is experiencing homelessness, who kind of meets our program criteria and is interested in getting help. And then I'm usually the first person that goes out, and there's like a warm handoff phase where we want to make sure that they're comfortable with the outreach worker, comfortable with us and our program. So I'll kind of go out, I'll explain what our program is able to provide. If they want to continue working with us, then we have to go through a bunch of paperwork. They have to sign consents. We're bound by HIPAA and all these other privacy laws when we're dealing with medical records. And then we start doing that. Some of the times individuals can go missing, and so I'll reach out again to that initial outreach worker to try and figure out where they have gone, and then we'll do initial, again, outreach from that. How it works with the 1 to 10 is I'm not going out and seeing all 10 people in one day. We try to do once a week check-ins with everyone that's on our caseload. Because I'm generally the first person that we see, and there's 8 staff, 8 times 10, we have 80 people total. They all know me because I'm generally the first person they see. So a lot of the times I'm getting phone calls from people who are assigned to other case managers, and then I'm having to route that. Other times when someone's not available to come out, like let's say I'm stuck in Long Beach and I'm working with someone at the Social Security office in Long Beach, and someone else is in Inglewood, they're having a crisis, we all have like a group messaging system. I can message one of the other people on our team and say, hey, so-and-so's having a crisis out in Inglewood, can you get out there? And so we'll kind of manage that way. So we are a highly mobile team. So hopefully that sheds a little bit of clarity.
I'm still unclear about how the people living in these places are financed. Anita mentioned subsidies, but I don't understand where the subsidies are coming from.
Yeah. A little bit. Virtually every person that our group is working with either qualifies for general relief funds or they qualify for supplemental Social Security. It's obviously not enough to live on, and one of the things that our team has been able to do is to facilitate some part-time work. You may have seen individuals collecting bottles, cans, and so forth. Those are going to the recycling center to help them just get their expenses through the day, kind of situation. But it's amazing in our area, and one of the most heartbreaking things I think is how many individuals that we speak with directly, constantly, used to live within a stone's throw of where they're living now on the street. They have family in the area, but a lot of that family is homeless too. They've lost their house through perhaps the mortgage crisis. A job has been lost, and so they can no longer pay rent. Perhaps an older parent is very ill, and whatever money the individual has is also helping that individual, but they're not able to live together. So money is kind of cobbled from wherever it comes from. Does that answer well enough what you
Can
have?
I explain?
Where the subsidies?
Can I explain a little bit more about the subsidies, or maybe Karen, you're going to explain SSI and HUD and all that?
Sure, thank you. And introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Pam Pressmall. Just to explain a little bit more, yes, a lot of people are on disability, SSI, SSDI. So let's say their annual or their monthly check is $900. They can only pay 30%. If they are in these units that are permanent supportive housing units, for the most part, those are in developments that have what are called project-based vouchers. So you heard Section 8 mentioned. Section 8 is a government voucher that is subsidized by the Federal Housing and Urban Development. So these people they have a voucher attached to their apartment. So they qualify for that voucher because they're low income. They are put into that unit. They pay 30% of their $900 check that they get, and then the government, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, pays the rest of the rent. It works so much better to have project-based vouchers because if you have a voucher, it's a great thing, but if you're out shopping and trying to find a landlord who will take a voucher, it's getting harder and harder because our rent is going up so high in Southern California that landlords don't want to take the amount HUD is going to give them and your 30% because they know they could get probably double if they are just, renting it at a market rate. So when you have an organization like Jamboree and some of the other affordable housing developers, they're getting banks to invest in these properties with tax credits, and they're getting other private and local government money to fund these, and they are sustainable. And we need more and more and more of them. And one thing that I want to mention, just because I don't know if anybody else was at a homeless provider on Thursday, but Jamboree, which they're just amazing. They have partnered with UCI. You heard the mention of the cost of homelessness study that UCI, the United Way, and Jamboree did. Jamboree and UCI are now doing a study of is it a reality that if these permanent supportive housing developments go into communities and we house formerly homeless people in them, that property values go down and crime growth goes up. So that's the NIMBY argument. We don't want that community here because our property values are going to go down and they're all criminals and they're going to be breaking into our homes. They're going to be looking at it from an academic perspective, and I just think it's amazing. And so keep your eyes open. This is going to be really interesting.
Thank you, Pam. Let's give Heidi, okay, and then Virginia, and then May.
I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Heidi Zimmerman with Homeless Angel Foundation. If anybody wants to talk to me, please come get my card afterwards. I've been in the trenches. I was in the riverbed with 1,400 people. I only have a minute, but I wanted to show you who my friends are. This is Kendra. She was in the riverbed. They've been moved so many times. Now she's living in a church parking lot. And there was 1,400 people there. They keep on getting moved and moved again. The pointed time count shows 700 unsheltered people in Anaheim. If you look at Anaheim, you don't see any tents. The police crack down. I know you don't want to see tents, but you know what? These people don't have anything. They don't have any protection from the heat. They don't have any protection from the weather. They don't have protection. They live under tarps. I'm begging you to contact me. I love the people here that work in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is 20 or 30 years ahead of us. If we don't pay attention to what they're doing here, the solutions they're coming, we will end up having 50,000 homeless in Orange County if we don't start paying attention to real solutions. If you heard what they said, we had visible homeless. All the county is doing right now is getting rid of the visible homeless. They're not actually solving the problem. They're taking their belongings away. Same thing with the police, and also, it's in Orange also. When you take people and take their belongings away, and then they don't have a birth certificate, they don't have an ID, this all contributes to homelessness. We can't keep on blaming the people. Please contact me. There are real solutions here. I've seen a lot of trauma, and I just want to say that when I come here, you have no idea how healing it is for me to be in this group of people that let me actually talk about my friends. My friend MJ's back there too, on pictures. You are healing me just by knowing that you're here, because I've been helping these people. I found 2 of my friends dead in the street. So when I walk down the street, I find dead people. That's my reality in Anaheim. I found 2 of them dead in the riverbed. We could have saved those people. These are my friends, they're real people. God bless you, all of you, for letting me have this time, especially Anita,
Thank you.
for inviting me. I love you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi.
I went to, as part of the Laguna Beach, we saw a apartment complex that had been purchased by a development company, like you said, and then it's market rate. The housing is market rate, so that is not cheap. But I don't understand that, because they told us that the HUD vouchers have stopped in Orange County since 2012. You can't get them anymore. So, can you explain that?
You can get them, the lists are just closed right now. So they cycle off people off of the Section 8 list. Anaheim is opening theirs, I guess, this summer.
Yes.
But the last time Orange County opened their Section 8 list, I think it
12 years
was,
ago.
no, it wasn't that long ago.
How-
No, it was about 8.
How many people? She told us 12, I thought.
No, I remember,
2012, sorry.
Yeah.
2012,
okay.
sorry.
I was gonna say, I thought it was about 7 or 8 years ago. But yeah, Anaheim has their own housing authority, so they have their own Section 8 vouchers, and theirs is opening, but you have to have some connection to Anaheim. Either your last permanent address was in Anaheim, or you're homeless in Anaheim, so, some of these people might qualify, but yeah, and I think Garden Grove has their own, but anyways, yeah, they only open every few years, because there are so many people on the list, so they try to cycle people off. So yeah, anyways.
Thanks, Dan.
Hi, I just wanted to touch base on both those programs because me and my husband are living cognizant of those programs. In Riverside County, we've lived in Section 8 housing, and normally the apartments, when it's 30% of your income for your rent, it's not usually through Section 8, it's called Section 8 on site. And what it is, it's each individual housing development has some kind of contract with housing authorities, but which makes it really impossible for the ones that messed up with evictions. So us, the ones that messed up with evictions in the past, were X'd out of the federal programs, which a lot of us are still lingering on the streets. Me and my husband were fighters. We've been keeping ourselves in homeless court and really fighting the legal aid system because in Riverside County, we were actually kicked off of housing authority for letting a homeless family move in with us. And because we were being compassionate and didn't want to see a friend fall to the streets, we all fell. And so now it makes it to where programs like that, even though they sound very wonderful for the ones that really messed up in the system and we're really trying to climb our way out, they make us jump through hula hoops and rings of fire and expect us to land on a bouncy ball with 1 foot. I mean, it's like nearly impossible. And to each city, to each his own with housing authority. You have the Housing Authority Orange County, which runs it all. And then you have, each city has its own individual housing authority. So they really expect us to go to every housing authority and say, hey, we messed up, can you help us? And we get turned down left and right. So what it really boils down to is guiding our homeless friends to utilize like homeless court, legal aid society, because those are the ones that's really going to get us out of our homelessness.
Thank you.
Just one more thing. I'm in a program called Telecare that's kind of similar to the wraparound program. And it's got speed bumps and everything, but as far as like the mental health programs out there, I think the wraparound programs for the homeless, it makes us want to push and go into agencies that we normally wouldn't walk in by ourselves. Because we have that support team out there, I'm now going into like Social Security office and I'm really getting our lives together so we can have our kids back in the States. And because of programs like that, it makes us have confidence.
And she's here today, so give her a big hand. Thank you. We are running short of time and our technology person has to leave, but I know Aloysa has a story she really, really wants to share, so that's going to be the last story to share, and then I'll wrap us up in 2 minutes quickly.
learned so much from all of you today. I just want to share a story that I have. This is Natalie. The lady, her name is Natalie, a human being, living every day as a woman without a home. Natalie hanging out at McDonald's. Natalie waiting for her mom. Natalie waiting for an opening for an apartment. Natalie is a woman that I met at McDonald's in my community. I've been talking to her for the last year. She's there when I go to McDonald's. If the manager helps her. She's become my friend. I met a lady at our last gathering in February that was homeless. And I talked to her and I says, how can I get Natalie to trust me? She says, it's going to be very hard because that's why she's telling you that she's waiting for her mom. She's waiting for an apartment. When she gets your trust, you'll be able to help her more. And I learned that from that lady, and it really has helped me with Natalie to talk to her so she can trust me that I am going to help her. I've had all these recommendations that Anita has provided, so I'm giving her all these opportunities, but she still is not there yet. And I'm glad that I met that other lady because she really taught me how to talk to Natalie. And I'm really blessed for that. Thank you.
Thanks, Eliza. It's Anita and the PW program team, and of Irvine for Everyone, and Insight, and CareerWise, all of us together. We are doing this. Marty has asked for a minute to highlight something.
I just wanted to follow up on everything you've heard from the professionals. From my lay point of view as a volunteer, it's absolutely true. You have no idea how hard they work, but how large their caseloads are, and how often a volunteer actually can, because we have signed on to the permissions. We are allowed to share in the information of individuals who trust us to do that. Quite often we have a car and it's available to go all the way to Montebello for that last minute housing appointment when the caseworker was not expecting it and already has the afternoon booked. And they say, well, if you can't come today, it'll be 6 weeks. We may be able to provide that. Quite often we're able to provide that emergency phone call that needs to be made today, but the cell phone that's been provided is out of power. It's little things like that. You will be amazed at how useful you can be. Please don't be afraid to try. Thank you.
And the invitation for you, the difficult invitation for you, is to take this bag. It has the list of supplies inside. Each one of them, there is, pick that up. I'm going to ask 3 people or 4 people. Bay is willing to help. Garrett is willing to help. Marty is willing to help as a mentor. David Freeman. Who else? Heidi Zimmerman. Is there anybody else? Who would serve as a mentor? Eloisa is willing to serve as a mentor for this. So don't be afraid to take a bag home with you today. And you can add things to the bag when you pick up a copy of the program brochure that went with that bag, Creative Crafts for a Cause. I'm going to ask one of the Insight volunteers to help us with that, make sure that people get both the program brochure as well as a bag. Yes? David first. David had his hand up. Yes.
Just a question to Derek. Do the HIPAA laws help or hurt the homeless?
It depends. Which is such a lawyer answer.
Okay, and what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to allow people to talk together because we're really running very late now, and I want to honor our time together. We have a business meeting. You're all welcome to stay. With that invitation, Dory?
Just quickly, these people who are willing to be mentors and help, is there some way that we can get a way to connect with them? Maybe if their emails are sent to everybody that was here?
Okay, I can do that, or you all have Garrett's email in your program brochure, right under his name. You have Marnie's email, you have my email, you probably have Ann's email. You can ask any of us who, the names of the people who have said they'll be mentors are right there. I didn't want to put people's emails or phones down because I didn't know which ones you would prefer, whether email or phone. And I've come into this mode where we have too much information and people then say, oh, I'm too overwhelmed by all this information. So I figured if you want it badly enough, you will get it. You will go for it and you will ask. So that's a challenge right there also. So thank you all very much. And a big hand. I'm going to ask Dave to stand up. I think you stand up, Dave. And a big hand to Debbie and her team. And all the people, Dory and Lynn and Virginia and everybody else, and for Kay who came. And I understand there is somebody who found us on Eventbrite. I forgot to tell the numbers, guys. We reached 10K. That's the total number of people we reached. And not all of them are here, but we had different experiences. And it was a few people. But remember, what we are asking is very difficult. We're not asking for something easy. So I'm going to ask Winston to close us very quickly in prayer because I feel this is a moment to pray about too, as you all take a bag each and remain for the business meeting.